Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Event Industry News Podcast with me, James Dixon, wishing you all a very good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever or wherever you join today's podcast from. It seems like ages since I've sat behind the microphone on one of these. I was just talking to our guests off air before we came on and started today's recording, and it's both baffles me how I kind of just drop back into this absolute nonsense that I sometimes deliver on the podcast, and yet always feel like it's been ages since I've sat behind the microphone. But really good one for you today. Got a guest on who there's been a very recent press release about their new role and what that's going to mean for the particular venue in this instance, and operationally the facilities that they're going to be working in. And let's get into it immediately. Olympia Events has announced two senior appointments recently: Talia Day, Sustainability Lead, and Carly Gibbs, Head of Customer Experience. Today, I'm going to be joined by Carly to find out a little bit about what that role actually means, how it's going to impact the operations of the events, and a little bit more about Carly herself. Carly, thank you very much for joining the podcast and welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. So, Head of Customer Experience at Olympia Events. Congratulations, first of all. This is pretty much hot off the press. I think that the press release that I was given and sent is dated the 21st of July. And for context, we're recording this on the 30th. So I'm guessing you've only been in post a short while, but how are you settling in, first of all?
Yes, so that's correct. Only been in post now a number of weeks. We're very much still in the weeks, not the months. But yeah, absolutely so pleased to be here. Fantastic team, fantastic site, and just the opportunities that lie ahead are so exciting. So really excited to be on this journey. It is a journey. It's one of those, and just really looking forward to getting stuck in.
And again, just referring to that release, it refers to the fact that you've got 19 years, experience working in the events industry, private sector, fundraising, strategy, operations. Can you maybe expand a little bit on that? And I guess that, like anybody that works in the industry, those different experiences kind of shape and bring you to a point where the type of job that you're going to be doing now presumably lends on all of that experience.
Yeah, very much of a going off in slightly different directions, but feel like I've kind of come back to a little bit of a place now where everything's come together. So, as you very much said, started within events. And come back round full circle. So working with Cancer Research UK, Comic Relief on the sport relief campaigns as well. So working in a third sector there was absolutely fantastic to have that real cause at the heart of what we were doing. But working with having 14,000, 15,000 event participants at some of these outdoor mass participation events, all fundraising for a similar cause, through to working with private agencies, delivering other outdoor, indoor events, conferences, exhibitions. And then most recently, within the last 10 years or so, I've been working within this role of guest experience,
Right.
which I guess has kind of come around. It's a bit more of a common term now, a common job title. But yeah, around 10 years ago, it was kind of seen as what's that? Is that customer service? Is it not?
Sure.
But yeah, it started very much within actually in the workplace environment. So delivering events at a business park, which kind of evolved really. So before COVID, when it's very much people in the office 9 to 5, 5 days a week, but really looking at what's keeping them there. There is the start of more Skype calls are coming in. So what's the purpose of keeping people at that workplace? And it very much grew into that experiential role. I
Mm.
most recently moved over to working within the retail sector, leisure destinations as well, again in a similar role. But now really kind of bringing all of that experience from different industries back to my home of events at, again, such a fantastic venue at an exciting time. It kind of feels like it's kind of completed my full circle.
Is it a newly created role within Olympia Events to have a head of customer experience? Is this something they've had before?
It is a new role. It's a new role. There was a similar style role, but it was more around customer service back around 10, 15 years or so. But
Mm.
yeah, this is very much as a new role to really kind of tie in line with this new fantastic offering that we have coming up, that's mid-flow at the moment. The building works are obviously well underway, coming to near completion as well. So it's the right time to really think about that experiential impact and looking at Olympia much more as a destination now rather than just a venue.
Mm. And what, if we can touch on it very, very briefly, and it might be going slightly on a tangent, but for people who may not be aware, just explain a little bit about some of these building works and its sort of, I guess, adaptation, if you will, as a destination, as a cultural experience, rather than just, maybe what people know as a big event sort of space for hire.
Yeah, so we've got our fantastic heritage halls here, the Grand and the National, and the exhibitions are very much at the core of what we do. That's not going away. That's what we're known for as well. We have fantastic exhibitions that we can host, but we're expanding and enhancing the offering that we have. We have a fantastic 4,000 capacity music hall that's coming. We have a state-of-the-art theatre that's being built. We have over 30 food, beverage, and leisure offerings across the campus as well as a workplace offering with around 500,000 square foot of office space. So
Mm.
bringing all of that together, that straight away you can see it's much more than an exhibition venue. As I say, that's not going away. That's the heart of what we are. But adding all that together and a fantastic conference centre that goes on top of it as well, it just makes it this well-rounded destination where members of the local community can come along, enjoy some of the bars, the restaurants that we have as well. There might be people here visiting as a trade show, joining a
Mm.
conference, going to the theatre. So again, we have lots and lots of different customers that will be coming along and enjoying what we have to offer.
And that dovetails nicely, I guess, into the role that you've been brought in to fulfill, because with the change of, I suppose, venue structure, both physically and metaphorically, with things like the music hall coming in, with it becoming a cultural space, as in addition to its sort of what people know from a core point of view, which is the exhibition, the big hall side of things. Inevitably, that's going to lead to a wider demographic of customer coming through the doors, which then brings it back to making sure that that customer experience, regardless of what type of event they're coming for, is fulfilled correctly.
Exactly that. So, there is a fantastic event team here that's worked, some of them for many, many years and seen and worked on and supported huge amounts of events. But like you say, we're offering a very, very different type of venue as we go forward. So the types of events that we are able to support just rapidly grows and expands from immersive events, to real different types of exciting activities, family events as well. And like you
Yeah.
said, that means there's different types of customers. So we really need to understand who are those customers? What do they want from us? What do they expect from us? And it's not just about our operations on the ground. It's really looking at that whole customer journey. And it very much links back to our brand reputation. We have some fantastic pieces of work that are going out already. We have a brand new brand video that's out there as well. And those digital touch points are already setting the expectation around what
Mm.
our venue is about. So we need to match those expectations. Everyone's expectations are extremely high. We need to match them, but we have to do it in a collaborative approach. Whoever comes to the site, they're coming to Olympia. They might be going to an exhibition. They might be just going to have a fantastic meal or some drinks in one of the restaurants and the rooftop bars. They don't want to know that there's lots of different company and organizations here at this one site. It just needs to be seamless. And we mustn't forget the hotels as well. So if we have
Mm.
people coming here, they're coming along, they're visiting, and they're looking to stay, well, they find one of our hosts or a security team member, and they're asking for directions. They're looking, oh, where's the nearest hotel? The whole of the team that works across the site needs to be very much aligned and have that understanding, that knowledge about what we're about. Oh yeah, of course, madam. We've got 2 hotels that you can choose from on site. You'd like to book a restaurant? Oh, we've got a fantastic choice upstairs. And it's not just coming down to, oh, well, if you go and find so and so, they'll be able to help you. It's making sure we've got this unified approach and understanding around what the site has to offer and how we treat our customers, that they're a guest to us, they're visiting. We should be proud, and we want to welcome them, and we want to make their visit very, very memorable to make sure they come back.
So when we look at all of those things that you've just highlighted and talked about, how does the actual job role manifest itself in the first sort of few weeks in, Carly? Did you, as a newly created role, is there a very clear kind of job description, and did you know exactly what you were coming in to achieve initially, or is there part of it as well where you've got your own ideas and kind of ways that you would like to sort of, I guess, research and identify where improvements could be made initially?
Well, I think from, as I say, being in a similar role within some different industries as well, it's got some core fundamentals what the role is about. And,
Right.
you know, the site here and the team being, you know, very strongly led by Andy O'Sullivan, there's a very clear direction of where we're going and what we're looking to achieve. But really, the purpose of this role is to really look at where we can create those memorable moments, where we can have efficiencies as well, both internally with our processes and in externally in terms of what we deliver. And to be able to do that, it's not an off the shelf. It's not going, oh, well, I'll use this and do this. It's really about immersing yourself and understanding what are the kind of the little nuances? What's the current culture? Where are we looking to go? It's not just about words. It's not about, oh, we'll just do this. It's just a bit of, you know, some new values, some customer journey mapping. It's really getting into the details, talking to people, having those conversations and really understanding. And to be able to have the impact externally, you've got to get the internal work done right as well. Yes,
Hmm.
there could be some quick wins that we can do that have an immediate impact on what our customer, our guest, our visitor will see. But to really have an impact, it's delving deep into the internal ways of working. So
Mm.
at the moment, I'm understanding, trying to get involved with the commercial team, understanding from sales and marketing, how our HR, how our finance, our IT systems work. And from there, it's really just trying to, again, understand what is that process. When we start to have conversations with a potential new customer, what are all those touch points that they have with our brand? As I've mentioned, it starts way before they ever come to site. It's around that brand reputation. And it's understanding how we have an impact on them at every single one of those stages. And this is where we have to have the right team culture, because what we're doing is absolutely great, but there's always opportunity to improve. And you have to have a team that have got exactly that right attitude to be able to go, you know what, we'll give this a go. We'll test
Mm.
it. We'll trial it. It might not be right, but we've got a good, strong team culture where we trust each other. There'll be no repercussions. We'll
Yeah.
give it a go to make improvements. And once you start building on that internal culture, this is where you get, oh, I've seen that. I'll give it a go. I'll try this. Oh, we need to do this. You get that cohesive team coming together a little bit more rather than people working in silos. And we have experts in their areas. But as we know, it's not about all individuals. You know, the sum of the parts is much greater when we are all a little bit more aligned. And we can even take that down to some really, really simple areas, for example, that, you know, operationally, every single team member carrying gloves in their pockets. There's a piece of litter, you pick it up. It's not somebody else's responsibility. You see somebody that needs some help, you go and actively and proactively approach them. These are just such simple things, but build that right the way through all internal processes, and
Mm.
the end result of the enhanced customer experience comes through so much easier.
Yeah. And this might seem like a really obvious or even daft question to ask, but how are you defining the term customer? Is it visitors who are coming to the events, or is it the event clients themselves, the people coming to host their events there? Is it all of those things? Is there a definition as and it going on what you were just saying about the team being aligned? Is it important for you to have a definition of who and what the customer is so that the team can be aligned with each other?
Exactly that. It's that understanding that has to come through it. So our customer is anyone that has an interaction with our brand, and so they could be exactly that. They could be an exhibition organizer. It could be an exhibitor working for one of the exhibition organisers. It could be a contractor directly through us or a third
Sure.
party. It could be a member of the local community that happens to pass by every single day. We have a new school that's opening on site in September, which is absolutely
Really?
fantastic. We do indeed. So again, that is really going to change the feel and the vibe of the whole of the site as well. So they're a customer to us. And like you said as well, is exactly team members. We should be treating each other as customers. How can we support each other to get the best? And it's really, again, thinking about that and having that understanding, that mindset around what's our purpose to enhance
Mm.
the customer experience. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, not only is for example, an exhibitor, an exhibition organizer going to be using our venue, but how can we work with them to help them deliver an even better event? It's not just about providing the fantastic site that we have. So if we start thinking about that, we then start to think about all the other customers. Oh, a family that's coming to enjoy the theatre and use one of the local restaurants. Well, how can we work with our partners on site to say, did you know this? What about this? This is else that's happening on the site. How can we be fully aligned in what we do?
Mm.
So understanding of terminology is really, really important, but it goes right back even further than that. Not only understanding the customer, but when we say experience as well. I kind of alluded to the word experience as being round in roles for many, many years now, but there's still an understanding from a lot of people that that's kind of the same as service and they can be used interchangeably. They're
Mm.
very different. Obviously, service has an impact on the experience. So again, it goes right back to that, is getting everybody onto the same page and what we're talking about, what's our
Mm.
terminology, so we know that we're all working together in a cohesive way to achieve that end result.
Yeah, and being adaptable is everything in sort of today's environment. You know, customers, visitors, event goers, they're more discerning and they demand more.
Yep.
And that's evident when you look at new venues that are opening. You know, and I take something like the Co-op Live in Manchester that opened last year. I went there last year, not long after it opened, and you know the experience there from a hospitality point of view. You look at the bars, it's not just your old-fashioned sort of simple concession on the concourse serving a couple of draft options and some, but it was a beautiful bar. You'd be happy to just go for a drink in there. There were lots to offer. The food offerings were much better than I'd seen in any other kind of big arena of that nature before. And customers really are that they are more demanding now. The standards are so much higher and they expect more, and there has to be a level of adaptability whilst working with an economic structure for a venue of that size that works as well. So I guess, you know, part of the customer experience will be working with, like you said, the hospitality, the nearby hotels, venues, bars, on-site catering, etc., to make sure that they're aligned with whatever event is coming through the door.
It's exactly that. Everybody, like you say, is demanding more. We're all the same. You know, if something goes wrong from that service recovery point of view, you expect something to be rectified, but everybody's expecting more afterwards. Well, what's my compensation in return for it? And this is where everyone's expectations are going. So we can't do that alone. We're all trying to achieve something similar here. And this is where we have a huge opportunity across the whole of the Olympia site to work together. Let's be partners in this. Let's not all be each out for our own. We're going to be having thousands of people visiting this site. And if we're all battling internally against each other, that's not what it's going to work. And so right from day dot, everybody's being much aligned that we're supporting each other. We're partners in this. What can we learn from each other? And it's
Mm.
not just learning from this industry, it's learning from other industries as well. What can the leisure industry offer to us? How do theme parks run things? And obviously,
Yeah.
we all know Disney, with their Imagineering principles that they have and their commandments, making it a seamless experience. And that's through working together in that partnership. And that's exactly where we're going here at Olympia, with this fantastic and complex site, but
Yeah.
really aligning everything together.
Olympia has always fascinated me in the sense that it is. in some respects, it's a landmark of old London, you know, like the Victorian Albert or the Natural History Museum or Palace of Westminster. You know, as a building, it's a landmark of Victorian engineering. It has that history that a lot of, you know, modern event spaces don't have. They may offer a lot of things, and they've been able to build from scratch and offer, you know, a lot of modern elements, but you've got a combination of those modern elements with the new buildings, but also you've got that heritage there as well, which I'm sure is going to provide you a huge focus, I've no doubt, on some of this experience. And is that very much sort of shaping some of the stuff that you're looking to do, is kind of building on the cultural heritage of the structure itself and its landmark sort of status?
Yeah, 100%. That is something that lives through in everything, and you already start to see it come through in a lot of the branding as well. Also, the redevelopment works and enhancing the site. The heritage side is really coming through strong, and I think that's something that we're going to be really, really proud of. Especially within the ICC, there's some fantastic heritage walls that are being kept within the structure of the site as well. So you're going to have that nod back to who we are right the way through. As I say, it comes back through in our brand identity as well. It's got that Art Deco feel that comes right the way through. So when you come to any one of our sites that are here within Olympia, you're really going to be taken back at the same time. You're going to know that you're here. You're not going to be at a venue which has been built brand new, sparkling. You know, but you could be in a box essentially. You know,
Yeah.
where am I? Which part of the country? Which part of the world am I in? You know, we're very much making sure that every single step of that journey, there's going to be the nod back to who we truly are and what this fantastic site is physically built on as well.
Because hopefully it's fair to say that it's kind of gone through, you know, its phases. You know, it's had peaks and troughs in its life cycle. You know, I last worked in there probably 10 years ago, on an exhibition, and I'm sure things have changed remarkably. And 10 years ago when I saw it, you know, it was very much a venue that still had that sort of iconic status about it, and that heritage, but that was starting to look a little bit tired around the edges and look like it was just in needing of not just a refreshment, but kind of, you know, a bit of an overhaul to bring it into the 21st century. And it really, I'm so pleased that it's kind of got to that stage as well, and that roles like this are being created to tie in with the physical investment, because so often we see money being pumped into venues to develop them and the actual physical infrastructure of them, but then very little to be done to actually think about that customer journey, those different touch points that are now applicable, the various different ways in which people can communicate with an operation like Olympia now. And you know, when you look at the social media channels that you've got available, the ticketing channels for different events, the websites that the events themselves will run for their customers, you know, all of that is part of the journey. And it sounds like a very, very sort of daunting and complex job of yours. You know, is this going to be, is this going to be long hours? Is this going to be sort of looking through thousands of sort of points of data on a computer? You know, how much of it is physically walking the venue to actually see and experience that customer journey?
Well, for me, it's always being out and about amongst the team. And I think I mentioned earlier as well, there are some team members here that have been part of the infrastructure of the building. They've worked here for many, many years. They have so much fantastic knowledge and event experience and site experience as well. And it's understanding that, it's spending time, it's listening to some of their thoughts. And as we know, a lot of the time, innovation can come from the bottom up. It then needs to be matched with the top down as well at the same time to then kind of piece things together. So it's very much around feeling what needs to be done. But then there's obviously the huge amount around data. We know data is key. You know, it's understanding the numbers that work behind things and looking around CX measurement as well. Actually, how are we measuring what our baseline levels of customer experience are now? Where do we want to be? How are we going to get there? And then celebrating those successes when we get there as well. There's huge amounts of data that goes with it. But for me, it's about the people. we can have a fantastic site. I think we've all been to different venues before. It might be a restaurant where, oh, it's absolutely fantastic. It gets bought out, it gets taken over. You go back, wasn't quite the same. It's people that create the feel, the buzz. And so that's why for me it's so important about spending time with the team to really understand and piece things together from there.
Again, just an opinion here. You may shoot me down, but I always think now that a really good venue helps a visitor create their own experiences in some respects. That, an event will no doubt want to guide people in a certain way and help shape them, but also a great event and a great venue helps the visitors themselves to shape their own experience and to create almost their own bespoke day out there or evening out there. And even down to things like, but how many venues now do we see that create specific areas where people can go and take a family photo or a selfie that's got some sort of branding involved in it? It's such a simple and easy thing to do now, but that's then helping those visitors shape their own experience. And I'm just curious, is that something that you've kind of touched on in that very sense, helping a visitor to shape their own experience by creating certain elements of the physical venue that allow them to do that?
Oh, that very much so. And that's why it's really, again, understanding who our customers are and being really clear in terms of what is our purpose. What are we trying to achieve here? Therefore, who are going to be our customers? So how can we enhance their visit? What extra things can we have? What are the things so we're always one step ahead of our customers? So we're offering them things that they might not even know they need yet. And that's where we've got to get to. So yeah, there's going to be lots of things that are happening. So really excited for people to come and see and feel and experience those when they get here as well. But it's keeping one step ahead, keeping close to the ground, keeping one step ahead of those customers as well. And again, this is where it comes back to being bold enough, and I think there's a little word just above me here, bold enough to try things, test things out. Again, team with the ideas, we could do this, we could try that, with no fears of repercussion or issues if things go wrong, because we're all in that same environment of wanting to enhance what we offer. So yeah, lots of exciting offering and opportunities that will be here for all our customers.
And dare I ask, what does your jobs list look like at the moment? I don't know what platform you use or if it's an old-fashioned pen and paper, but it must be sort of a daily expanding or a list that expands on the minute and the hour.
Yeah, very much so. Luckily, my brain does work and enjoy structure and spreadsheets. So there is a lot of that you'll see often. But it's very easy to get bogged down into that but so much of the time it's understanding the feelings of the teams and understanding. So yeah, my day, a lot of time with teams, lots of different departments as well, understanding what their priorities are at the moment, what their challenges are, as I say, because that's going to have that impact on the customers. We have a lot of customers at the moment. We have customers who have been fantastic in supporting us right the way through all these redevelopment works as well for 5 years at minimum. So it's supporting our teams to continue supporting our customers who have supported us. But then it's, as I say, of course it comes with the hard work that goes with it. But work hard, play hard. The successes and opportunities that lie ahead very much outweigh the hard days that very much in the short term ahead.
Absolutely. And but before we wrap up, we should say if anybody wants to go and maybe find out a little bit more, I think, am I right in saying, is it Olympia.London now is the
Correct.
Is the website? Olympia.London. Brilliant when they brought in all of those suffixes as well, that you can have Olympia.London now as the website address.
Makes it a lot easier.
That's fantastic. We've had the pleasure of the company of Carly Gibbs. Carly is the new head of customer experience at Olympia Events, talking to us about that job role, some of the really sort of big and exciting changes and developments that are happening at the fantastic venue and location that is Olympia. If anybody listening to this today or watching this has the opportunity to go there and you haven't been there before, it really is an icon of London. It's a great part of London. It's got so much right on its doorstep, which is, I guess, Carly, one of its really unique selling points is its physical location, its geography as well. Where it sits is so much on the doorstep as soon as you step out of the site, as well as all the stuff that you talked about today that's on the site. So very best of luck with the new job role, and thanks very much for joining us today.
Brilliant. Thank you, James. And yeah, look forward to welcoming everyone to Olympia very soon.
And before we wrap up today, just a very, very quick reminder, as always, to head over to eventindustrynews.com. If you are watching today's podcast on the website there already, thank you very much for joining us. Please don't forget to head over to the A to Z supplier directory. If you work in the events industry and you're looking for a product, service, or a supplier of any description, the chances are you will find it on the A to Z supplier directory, just over on the one of the other pages of this website. Of course, if you're watching this today, don't forget to also go over to wherever you get your audio podcasts from and make sure that you subscribed. Your journey may have started on an audio podcast platform today, and if that's the case, thanks very much for listening to us. Please don't forget to go in the opposite direction. Head over to eventindustrynews.com, where you can watch videos of all of our podcasts, as well as finding that A to Z supplier directory that I've just mentioned. Thanks very much again to my guest today, Carly Gibbs. My name's James Dixon. Thanks very much for tuning into the podcast, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.